Where the heck are we?
Why are you yelling?
Sorry.
So aggressive.
I'm sorry. That's
confusing.
This are the things that drive me insane. If you see this person, they've decided to choose this spot and drive into it at 1/4 mile an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, Exhibit A. There's 73 billion parking spots. Pick one. My rant is over. All right, so we're walking to the Turtle Bay Exploration Park. We've never been here, but we hear there's a really cool bridge, so we're gonna go check it out. Look at this thing. Adam, first impressions?
Amazing. Awesome. I love the lines. Did I say that I like the lines?
Adam has an idea.
Full battery would help even more.
Is that dead?
This is dead.
Oh my goodness. Ill prepared.
Luckily, you always have to have a backup. Set it to shutter priority. I'll start there, just kind of see what I get. Now on a structure like this where the sundial is all white, it's really, really important to make sure that nothing is overexposed. So what I'm gonna do on my camera is turn on my highlight alert just to make sure that I'm not clipping anything. And I'm also gonna make sure that I check my histogram to make sure that I have a perfectly exposed photograph. Because the camera is going to have a tendency to try and underexpose this picture because of all the white that's in here. It's the same effect you get when you're photographing snow. There's a really cool graphic element to that underbelly of the bridge. I took a really awesome shot. The key though, simplify it and not get all that clutter in the background, like all those trees and all that stuff. Just make it about the bridge. I just want to say that was awesome. Inside the develop module, I've gone ahead and selected the image that I want to work on, and in particular there are two things that I want to change about this photograph. One, I want to fix all of these sensor spots that are in the sky, and the second thing I want to do is straighten up the composition. Let's start with the easier one first, straightening the composition. For this photograph, all I'm going to do is head on up to the crop tool and use my angle tool and just click along this line here And just like that, it's going to straighten up this line. And what I'm trying to do is this top line, I want it to be parallel with the top of the photograph. The other thing I want to do is maybe crop this down just a little bit so there's not so much sky in the top. As well, I want to pull up the bottom just a little bit so that that corner's fresh and clean. That looks pretty nice. And you can see how the top of this sundial is hitting that rule of thirds. So this is perfect. Go ahead and pull that down just a little bit more. And I'm going to hit done. All right, so now that the composition is straightened, the next thing I want to do is deal with these sensor spots in the sky. Here's a little tip for you. You'll notice here that I was shooting at around f20 in my aperture. And anytime you shoot in those larger aperture ranges, f16 or higher possibly, the higher you go in your aperture, the more sensor spots or sensor dust you'll actually see in your image. In lower aperture values, say f2.8, 5.6, you don't see these sensor spots as clearly. Since I was shooting in a higher range, you can see lots of sensor dust. Obviously, I need to get my sensor cleaned. But I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. What I'm going to do is click on the spot removal tool and head all the way down here to the bottom where I can turn on the visualize spots. And once I check this box, you'll actually see more of the sensor spots pop up. But I need a little helper to make this more obvious, because I know that there's sensor spots in the upper left hand corner of this photo that I can't see right now. So I'm going to head on over to tone curves, and I'm going to pull on this curve just a little bit and make it sort of look like an upside down U. And by doing that, now you can see clearly how many more sensor spots are popping up that weren't here before. For example, if I turn the tone curve off, you can see not as many spots. With the tone curve on, plenty more spots. Now that I have this enabled, I'm just going to go ahead and remove some of the sensor spots using the spot removal tool. I'm not going to bore you half to death with doing this, so I'm going to speed up the video and come back to you once this is cleaned up. Alright, now that I have those sunspots taken care of, or those sensor spots taken care of, I'm going to go ahead and turn the tone curves off so I bring back my photograph. The last and final thing that I want to do to this image is convert it to a black and white photograph, and then I'm going to go ahead and finalize this process so you can see the finished image.